Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another What's Up Wednesday. We have a heavy topic tonight, and we got a big show for you. Welcome, as always. My name is Scott, and it's an honor to be your host for another What's Up Wednesday. This is episode 31 consecutive weeks of helping you be a better RVer, whether you're no time, sometime, or even full time like me. What we do here at Go Small Live Large is we learn together, we share together, and then you decide what's best for you. And we got a big show for you tonight. We got a lot of folks in the house already. Let me just we got Florida in the house. Shirley, hello. We've got Ava. You made it to Kamari. Thank you. Met Ava. She rolled up on me in a KOA last night. And I just love meeting the viewers. It's so awesome. Here's Shirley. Good to see you. Here's Rochester Hills, Michigan. Good to see you. Boy, like I said, we have a big show for you tonight. We got a special guest, and I'm coming at you live from Oklahoma City. We're in the middle of doing Route 66, almost halfway. And tonight, would love to know where you're coming in from. That's where I am, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Pretty warm today. And we got a lot of events planned. We just did a couple of events. And again, tonight, it's just showing you that we're on the move and, again, helping you be a better RVer. On the docket tonight, you can follow the journey, of course, through Instagram and being on part of our email list. The van picture here is on my website. This was from our caravan just this last weekend. We had 6 vans in tow. Let me tell you, that was something else. So much fun. And recent video, I canceled my Winnebago factory service tour. Why? My van needed no work, even though I've been living in it for 30 months. And it's just incredible. It's really done pretty well. Big videos coming up. Tomorrow we've got part 2 of the Embassy RV build out. You'll want to see that for sure. And then we got Route 66, our second show on that, our second video, caravanning from Pontiac, Illinois to Springfield. So you won't want to miss that. And then, as always, we like to try and bring a guest on. Tonight, we got a really special guest. We got Jack Johnson. He's the co-founder and CTO at Volta. And he's really going overtime for you folks tonight. And you'll not believe where he's coming in from. Let's see if we can get him on the view right now, right here. We'll get that off. There he is. He's coming to us live from his truck. He's just going through St. Louis. So it's going to be an interesting show tonight. Right now. And I just love these. It's crossing the mother river, right? There it is. There's the arch. I love St. Louis. Is such a great town. I had such a great time there. So Jack, thanks again. Drive safely, please. What we're going to do is kind of, and the reason I asked Jack on is Volta has recently acquired a number of certifications. Folks talk about the Underwriter Laboratory UL listing. And this is similar to, so what I've done is asked Jack to come on and we'll kind of read your questions. So this is kind of Volta focus for the first half hour. And then we'll cut Jack loose so he can focus on driving through St. Louis and yeah, he's going to Joplin. What's in Joplin besides the house that Bonnie and Clyde had a shootout with the police? Family thing, right?
Joplin, Missouri. Yeah, going to see family. They are a little town called Columbus, Kansas.
This is Columbus, Kansas. So amazing. So thanks again, Jack. Let me just kind of roll forward. So Volta questions are encouraged tonight. And if we can't get something answered, we'll do our best to follow back up with you. But a lot of folks rolling in here. Jack, we got Lake Havasu. We've got Las Vegas, Nevada, which is pretty awesome. And yes, and a congrats to Sherry. She got her Embassy RV finally. So exciting. I saw a good question right out of the gate. So Deborah here wants to know, and she's in the Philly area, can owners of a Travato with lithium expand their batteries? So assuming you have a Volta system, Deborah, I think it's a safe assumption. So can you expand the energy pack? Jack, what are your thoughts on that?
If it's one of the VSBs, or a VIP, what we call an independent solution, that's in the Travatos, they're designed as a complete solution integrated into that battery pack, and you'd have to basically rebuild the entire engine, if you will, to make it bigger. So we do not offer expanding them after they've been produced. It's kind of like saying, hey, I bought a 4-cylinder can I have a 6-cylinder later? It could be done, but it's just very costly and more difficult to do than is worth it. So unless you have what we call a different type of system that usually is on our bigger systems, they're not expandable.
That makes sense. I love your analogy, 4-cylinder to 6-cylinder. Now, one great thing, Deborah, although you've already owned yours, it looks like, but the new Travatos and the Volta, I assume as well, allow for an upgrade from 3 modules to 4 modules in the energy pack, and that's kind of a new option just this last year, I think. So if you're shopping for one, I would recommend getting the 4th one if you don't mind putting a few more coins on the table, because it's a pretty big energy jump, right, Jack? Like 30-some% more. Which allows you to sit still longer, which is kind of the whole point if you want to do that. So great question, Deborah. So Jack, let me bring this graphic up for folks to see, and this can get really complicated. We're going to try and keep it as simple as possible, but tell us about what are certifications. What we're showing on the screen is the Automotive TS 949 and the ISO 9001 2015 supply chain. Sounds super sexy. So maybe let's just start with that one. What are certifications, and more importantly, why are they kind of important for the customer?
Well, ISO-driven companies it stands for International Standards Organization, and it's a pretty prestigious certification. Mostly, only the biggest companies go after these types of certifications, and it really works around how you govern the business. And it's around quality. You know, when you think about, if I'm going to build a car, you've got thousands, if not millions, of components, and they all have to be to spec. They all have to arrive at the facility on time. They all need to be meet the requirements so that you meet all. When you build your car, you can meet all the safety and performance expectations that you're supposed to deliver to your customer. And the ISO come out with these standards back in the, I think, mid-90s, and have evolved it into, how does the best companies in the world operate their businesses, and can you prove that you meet those expectations in terms of standards, controls, quality, audit systems. And what that ends up doing is building a better car. If any of you have experienced the change in our automotive industry from the 70s to today, you see this amazing growth in technology, quality, life. We got cars 250, 300,000 miles. We all know that we still have issues with vehicles. They're complex devices, but the overall quality has improved dramatically. And a lot of that, has come from the development of ISO standards that companies certify to. And Volta has worked very hard to complete an ISO certification for our business, and then as well as our supply chain also is ISO certified, and that's mostly around our cells. So the lithium-ion batteries that we build into our packs come from an ISO certified TS company, and that means they have audited their raw materials all the way down to where they're coming out of the ground. They have traceability. They can track the quality. When there is an issue, they can prove where the issue is. And the reason for all that is to make sure we can build better, higher performance, higher quality products for our customers.
So confidence, really, at the end of the day, and safety and throughput. And the one I was ISO, I think a lot of folks are familiar with that term, but the one I was not familiar with is the TIE listed to UL 1973 standards. Again, really sexy stuff here, folks. But maybe, Jack, just kind of explain what TEI is and what a UL 1973 standard is. Yeah.
Sure. Well, this is interesting where we have a clash of two worlds. The automotive transportation industry really looks at SAE, and they look at international standards for designing product and then building to certain requirements. Well, the home industry, specifically around insurance companies, created universal underwriters to help manage risk for products, for home-based products. And they're both testing organizations that want to sell their tests and they want to sell or brand their specific label to say, hey, it's been tested by us, our product's great. Well, since all of our products are designed around an automotive transportation expectation with really long lives, with different performance characteristics, we hadn't tested to UL specs because they're actually not as, let's say, robust to when you think about what automotive drivetrains have to go through. So we had gone down that path. Well, UL 1973 is a test that's focused on originally light rail, so train cars, and recently has been used to do some testing for RV. So to make sure we don't cause problems with what do you call specmanship between everybody, we went ahead and tested our product to meet to the UL 1973 requirements along with our automotive requirements. So now that brings on another third-party certification to our packs.
And again, for the customer, what that means, I'm kind of translating here, is confidence, durability, safety. What else would somebody like? Hey, my system's been with Volta's been TIE listed. Similar to an underwriters.
Yeah, universal underwriters testing requirements. TEI is the lab that performed the tests, and what it really means is safety. That the product is safe. They've tested it to their requirements and said, okay, the product is safe. So that then we have that TEI listing. So for that consumer out there, when someone's saying, oh, well, that's not safe. Well, this is showing that this engineering firm is a third-party firm. They're not a part of Volta, and they have tested these requirements and said that the product is safe.
Super helpful. Again, not a sexy subject unless you're a geek.
Nope.
I guess, but for a customer, and you guys spent a lot of time on this, right? You spent a lot of money on it, and it was a very big deal to get these certifications. How's the marketplace responding to this? To your search?
Well, if some of your folks don't know, and this year, I think in August 1st, RVIA, which is the governing standards committee for the RV industry, came out with a rule that they wanted all battery packs to have some third-party listing. And all of our listings were mostly international. And so bringing this in provides confidence to our customers. We make sure we're working with RVIA and meeting RVIA's needs to make sure that they're providing that oversight to ensure that they're putting safe products out in the hands of users. So for us, I think it's just another great addition to what we do, and it helps. If it makes people more confident and feel safer, then we did it. We did our job.
Yeah, and it's worthy, and I think people are looking to these kind of standards and third-party testing because it does give confidence. Versus just some marketing materials, right? So congratulations on that. And these kind of apply across the board, not just your RVs, but to let me see if I can bring this up. The one that was really recent is, and I see some Volta questions coming in, so keep them coming in. We'll get there in just a second, folks. Is your fire truck? Tell us about the dependable energy emergency vehicles in Volta. That's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, it is cool, isn't it? Look at that thing.
Yeah.
So that's just,
fire trucks are so sexy.
They're so much fun too. I'll give you some cool information. So when we were first talking with these folks, they're talking about the use of these pumper trucks. This is called a pumper, and I had no idea. But out of all the calls, a pumper truck is called to the scene 85% of the time, but only utilized less than 5% of the times it's called out. And that's because if you never want to be seen as a politician not rolling out all of the assets in case something bad happens. well, this is one of the most expensive vehicles a municipality might have. And they send them out, they run for hours at a time, not even really being needed, but sitting there on job site, running the engine, wearing it out, never actually doing its job. And one of the cool things we've done with Dependable is we've put a lot of energy storage on board. And now when that vehicle rolls out, it's still powered by the engine to drive the wheels, but when it gets to its on scene, it turns off and runs like your Travato. It runs a circulation pump for inside the tanks. It runs all the lights, radios, air conditioning. The whole vehicle will operate as if it's running, except for powering the main water pressure pump. And that cuts almost 20,000 pounds of CO2 a year out, and ends up a huge cost savings, as well as a safety enhancement. Because if you've ever been around a fire truck running at high idle to keep it operational, it's deafening, and these things are going to be quiet and seen. It's pretty amazing.
It's really amazing. Well, congratulations. I think and we know that you guys have done some work in the utility industry as well. Like a utilities truck, the big bucket, and they go up and they fix a transformer or something like that. Same deal, right? So just congratulations on this. I was really excited to see this. And if we want to make a video together, Jack, demonstrating Volta on a fire truck, please sign me up. I just think fire trucks and garbage trucks are so sexy. I don't know why, but so we got some good folks coming in here. So we've got.
Well, you're gonna have to come to Louisville,
Ohio. I know, right? So Sherry, awesome audience angel here. She's had her embassy RV now for 2 days, so she's got to be in seventh heaven. Salty Medic, thanks for tuning in today, sir. Appreciate that. Central PA, and where did I see that it's 106 degrees in Oregon? Frank and Sharon, you've got to be cooking like a Christmas goose.
Wow.
Hi, Scott. 106 degrees in Oregon. That is nuts. I just don't know what's going on. Omaha. I've not been to Omaha in my van yet. Cape Cod. That's where Jack's headed to the area for vacation next week. So Jack is really putting in the overtime for us, folks. So I really appreciate that. Let's see. I thought I saw a couple good questions here. Here's Scottsdale, Arizona. So merry-go-round here, Jack wants to know, can the plug-and-play Volta be added to a van without it? So I'm thinking back to your solid-state generator. You guys did some prototyping there back at the January Tampa RV Super Show. So if somebody's bought a vehicle, can they add the solid-state generator at this point, or what are your thoughts on that?
So the SSG, when it's in the way we've showed it on the videos, isn't out yet. But if you do want to have your vehicle equipped with an integrated Volta solution, check out our website and go to our aftermarket upfitters, and you can find several upfitters that have been qualified to be able to install our technology after initial sale.
Yeah, and there's one like right there in Elkhart, I think, right? There's a couple others I can't remember. Jane has a question here, Jack. Okay, thank you. So Jane has a question here. Has Volta considered changing the second alternator to a motor generator? She continues, it could add torque to the engine drawing from the batteries during steep hill climbs or passing. So consider a second alternator to a motor generator? Thoughts on that?
We've looked at a few of those. The challenge for our market, especially the RV industry, is scale. So to do, basically you have to have a permanent magnet style machine, they call it. You'd have to have a special motor controller, and then you'd have to have the ability to drive it back into the engine and communicate with the factory drivetrain to make all that work, and it'd be very, very expensive, resulting in very little value add back to the consumer because of the cost associated with, for example, Winnebago produces 3,500 vans a year, and they're the biggest. The scale's not there to be able to bring that type of technology in and make it reliable and cost effective. But what we do is in Travatos, when there's a heavy call for power, it will shut the alternator off. So that level of integration already exists in your vans.
That's cool. And you guys are always looking at what is kind of just around the corner on some of these technologies. So good question, Jane. Thank you. Hopefully that helped. We're getting a lot of questions on this adding capacity. And I should be more clear. So Michael Clark, except on the 2022 GL, I have expand cell availability. Yeah, it's an option on the latest ones. You would order it from the as an option on your Winnebago when you're buying your coach for the first time. It's not available, as we discussed, after you already take ownership, and it's brand new ones. It's just out this year on that. Let's see. There's a couple other good ones in here. Mm-hmm. Yes.
To help people out, so if one of the best, if people want to do mods, and they're saying, hey, I want more runtime, some of the best ways to improve your runtime is look at your air conditioner, what type of air conditioner you have, look at your other devices, because if you want to make a modification, go with technology that doesn't consume as much energy, and you're going to get more runtime and more bang for your buck if you look at those type of features that you're powering.
That's a great question. That kind of goes into James's comment here. So what options do we have to get larger capacity? If you already have your Volta system installed, it is what it is, unless you're ordering a brand new one, in which case there's a fourth module option. But like Jack says, and we've been doing some experimentation with this, with the air conditioner and the roof, managing expectations on how cool can your van be. Keep your van out of the sunlight, get it in the shade, makes a dramatic difference, and manage your inverter really carefully. Just sitting still, the inverter by itself, because it's so big, it allows you to run everything at once. Basically, is consuming about 2,000. That would be crazy. About 250 watts just sitting in an idle mode. So it's really a resource management. You can get really quite extended by doing that. But that's a good solution there, Jack. Let's see. There was a good one here. Let's see. So Jack, JP Passion says you get ISO accreditation accredited, not certified. There's a difference.
Right,
he's saying
that is correct. He is correct. You get accredited. That's correct.
So not my my bad vocabulary. I live in a van, so what do I know, right? On purpose, by the way.
In the layman's world, there's different, but technically there is a difference. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
He must be from industry. He knows what they mean.
Yeah, maybe so. That's interesting. Give a thumb up. Hey, Jack's joining us from the road, going through St. Louis to answer these questions on accreditations. So thank you, Jack. Give us a thumb up. Appreciate that. And there's a couple in here, Jack, I think we want to have you answer. So here's one from Mona. Has Volta thought about partnering with Plason, Plasanna? So Plason NA. They have a power system. It's mobile. It provides energy on the fly, and when needed, mobilizes wheels when needed in trailers. I'm not familiar with Plason NA. You ever heard of them?
Yeah. I've not heard of them.
Yeah, you broke up.
There's a lot of excitement out there in electrification.
So stay tuned.
Am I good now?
Yeah, they're good now. Yeah. Let's see. Vandemic says, great to see Volta in the house tonight. Thank you for that. So here's Mona again saying the new name is ATEMM. Plason has been looking to partner. Maybe just shoot me an email and let's take that offline. Shucker, you're a pretty frequent commenter on here. So Kimberly's in Portland. Are you ready for this? Portland, Oregon is 100 degrees today. I guess I shouldn't be complaining about Oklahoma City.
Yeah, that's hot.
So that's super hot for Oregon. Holy cow. So Thomas has a question, Jack. Does your current UL certification, which are really TIE, I think, accreditation, permit installation of your
CEI.
battery system inside the coach? Now we know TEI, sorry. Now we know that Storyteller puts their Volta energy pack inside the coach. Winnebago puts it outside,
Yep.
probably for tank purposes more, tank. So what are your thoughts on that? These new accreditations
Well,
allow
there's
you
no.
to put stuff inside?
Yeah. So the accreditation, and it's multiple pages of tests. None of the tests are governing if can they be inside the cabin. Nothing out there governing where you can and cannot put stuff currently with any type of battery. Obviously, lead acid technology. It's a technology has vapors that come off of it, which is and can you hear me? Okay.
It's a little breaking up, but keep
Did I
going.
lose you?
We might have to repeat just a little bit. No, we can hear you. YouTube Live, folks. Thanks for your patience. Oh, now he's frozen. And a good question, too. Gosh darn it. Let's see if he rings back. Yeah, we got the squeaky robot. Gosh darn it. Let's give him just a second, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully he won't drop altogether. It's a great question. We get it asked all the time. Jack, you able to hear us okay?
I'm going to log off and then log back in.
Okay, let's give him just a second, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for that. YouTube Live, in motion, learning while we drive, learning while he drives. Some good questions coming in. We'll cut him loose here in just a couple minutes. So if you have something specific that Jack would want to address, I've got a couple of things we can cover as well around Volta in particular. So let's see if he pops back in. Here he comes.
Sorry about that.
There he is. That's okay. Yeah, it's Missouri.
Live.
It's
so great.
No worries. I know, YouTube Live. Woo! There he is. Okay, so let's kind of start that over again. It's an important question. We get asked often. Embassy has a different approach to lithium versus Storyteller versus Winnebago. So installation of battery systems inside the coach. Maybe start that over for us.
Yeah. So lead acid batteries need to be kept out of a coach because they're not hermetically sealed. They actually vaporize sulfuric gas. That's what the rotten egg smell is. But that also will precipitate out. It can corrode things. It's not good to be in your living cabin. That's why traditionally lead acid batteries have been kept out. For lithium ion, they're hermetically sealed. They have to be sealed because any oxygen allowed around them would ruin the product. So they don't have any off-gassing in a normal mode. They really have very limited comparison to traditional lead acid technology. Now, there's a lot of, those great stories out there of, when people apply technology incorrectly, bad things happen, right? We've all seen fires of lithium ion going up, but we've all seen generators catch on fire. We've all seen cars catch on fire. We've seen gas tanks, right? We got fuel. When you have energy in a space, there's no technology that's perfectly safe. But there's oftentimes the lithium ion world gets a little excited about what could happen when the evidence really isn't there, because it's the same risk that you're dealing with every day, just in a different form. So back to the UL testing. The UL testing is really focusing on what happens when you overcharge them, what happens when you over discharge them, what happens if you overheat them, what happens in a vibration, what happens if you crush them, impact them. And they're basically looking at what is that exothermic response, or what is the potential of fire. All lithium ion will give off a lot of heat, especially, a lot of the lithium iron phosphates will say, hey, they don't they don't catch on fire. Well, they're often built around thermoplastic housings that have as much fuel energy density as diesel fuel. And it can get hot enough to melt that plastic and catch that plastic on fire, which has just as bad vapors in it as if a lithium ion cell just punctured in a cabin or space. So their rules, their testing is all about, hey, has this product meet these requirements that experts have decided are the critical performance characteristics we want to see to say it has an acceptable level of risk. And that's the great thing is, in reality, when you look at it, these things are actually safer than gasoline or diesel fuel that you're running around with right now that you have to sleep over every night. Underneath your bed is a big thing of gasoline, right? But we don't think of it because the systems have been well engineered for over 100 years. And the same thing goes with lithium ion. As more confidence and more product gets out there, higher quality systems get out there, the fear that people have of the unknown goes down as they get comfortable with the technology. But back to the original questions, can they be put in interior space? Yes, they can be put in interior space. Some people option not to put them in interior space, and that's based on their own design thoughts. There's the risk of it being outside, the risk of being inside. They're not a lot of difference when you look at what we call fault tree or all the engineering speak I can go into about when bad things could happen.
Yeah, and I just love the analogy, gasoline and propane. I got 6 gallons of propane on board too. So way more powerful in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah, like that propane vessel.
A couple more questions.
The delay on this
I'm sorry,
thing
say again?
I was just going to say about propane vessels. You think about, are those been crash tested? Our batteries have been tested to 40 Gs.
That's a lot, by the way. I'm pretty sure.
It's a lot.
Let's see. So here's kind of a forward-looking question from Sparks Guy, and I'd like to know your thoughts on this too. How will recent announcements by the Biden administration on electric cars, so kind of set a goal like 9 years out to have 50% of the vehicles sold be electric? How's that percentage going to affect the auto market, affect Volta? And by the way, the manufacturers already kind of set those goals for themselves. It wasn't really Biden just kind of made it a little bit wider, but I think it was Ford and there was one other I read had the same goals. So what are your thoughts about electric vehicles? Is this going to change things dramatically? And what are your thoughts on the future for electric?
Wow, this one could go on all day long. How long is this show going to be tonight?
We'll give you 2 to 3 minutes.
All right, I have a lot of opinions on it. Right now what's going on, the biggest thing in the industry is all this product is made out of very rare material. So if you think about copper, it's already a global commodity, and prices is set by demand. And unless you find a way to magically pull copper out and refine it to 99.999 pure in roll goods, its cost is what it is, and you only have so much supply. Same with nickel, manganese, cobalt, aluminum, the rare graphites. All of these materials that are semi-precious or very hard to find have a limited supply. And right now, the rate that they're saying they're going to bring cars on, there's not enough capacity in the world to supply it right now. And if you follow Europe, when they talk about gigawatt hours, I think there's something like 60 or almost 80 gigawatt hours of capacity coming online, and that's going to be barely enough to meet, I think, 25% or half of the demand for electric vehicles. And then at the same time, the fueling supply was going to come from municipality power systems. So if you think about switching around to all of a sudden everybody's got these electric cars and they all want to plug into our power grid, but nobody wants to build any more power stations, and we're going to do it on the timeline of governments and municipalities, I'm like, where are we going to get all the energy? And where are we going to get the materials? So for me, I scratch my head going, they're going to either get more expensive, and we're going to have more and more charging issues, which is going to create some unique dynamics. But for Volta, it's all good because we're about providing a way to get access to that high quality technology because they're spending trillions of dollars in research. And you might have seen that just, the latest plant to go in, I think, is a $2.2 billion investment in Tennessee between LG and General Motors. And that's just for like 1 or 2 car programs. That type of cost and investment driving the technology will continue to improve it, make it better and better. And for Volta to be able to provide great technology to our customers, it's the automotive guys that are driving that tech, and we're being able to work alongside them and bring that technology into the RV space. And that's why we are able to build such great technology. Otherwise, the volume and scale in the RV space, and in fact, all of our market space, if you combine all 3 of them together, they don't even equal Toyota Motor Company in terms of volume for sales. And that makes it really difficult to innovate really advanced technology. So for us, it's all on the upside, but I think there's going to be some really wild challenges that the world isn't quite ready for.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I'm doing Route 66 right now, almost halfway there. And you think back to the late 20s when the road was actually built and cars were still super new. And then the 30s and the 40s rolled around, and there really wasn't a lot of infrastructure just around gasoline. You had to carry your own gasoline, and it was sold everywhere in jugs and cans and weird stuff because the infrastructure wasn't there to put fuel in cars. Yeah, hardware stores, grocery stores, it was crazy. And I think we're going to kind of go through that first. It's a little bit of a chicken and egg. You need the infrastructure almost first to supply the demand, and you got a good point about resource limitations, and so I should not be shorting copper is what I'm hearing as the hot tip for the night. One more question, then I think we'll turn you loose, Jack, so I can focus on driving. So Vanster here wants to know, one of your resellers, Advanced RV, seems to offer other lithium-ion setups of their own design. Why is the question?
I think it's
Vanster.
Yeah, to me,
they just add more things to it, right? I mean, they go ahead, sir.
Sorry, there's a delay between time on the app, so I apologize for talking over you. What I believe it is they have a engineering team and a gentleman that is a passionate RVer, and he's been trying to build and design his own solution for a while. And I know they've been working on 12-volt solutions, and I think it's a competitive advantage for them. They're trying to figure out a way to take costs down and provide more value to them. Obviously, Volta, we got to build our stuff and make profit on it to keep our doors open. And some of our customers want to try it on their own, and that's perfectly fine. That's what competition is about, and that's why they offer other solutions.
Let them, learn, share, you decide, right? It's marketplace. In the end is one of the most beautiful things. Well, Jack, I know, and ladies and gentlemen, he's actually pulling a trailer behind him too in the middle of all this. So he is dialed in. We're gonna turn him loose so we can focus on driving safely all the way to Joplin, Missouri, which you're gonna see on Route 66 coming up, and because it is a cute town and really charming downtown. It's got some fascinating history. So, Jack, we're gonna say thank you so much for joining us tonight. Give everybody give Jack a thumb up on the video tonight. We'll go for another 20 minutes with some of your other questions here that aren't Volta specific. So, Jack, thanks again, sir, and you're just the best and just such a champion. Just thanks for supporting our efforts as your Volta brand ambassador. We've got trainings coming up in Oklahoma and Texas and Texas. We're going crazy out here for you. So just thank you again, Jack.
Well, thanks, Scott. Thanks to all your followers. I appreciate you interested in our technology, and safe travels.
Safe travels. We'll talk to you soon. All right. So Jack in the truck pulling a trailer, going through St. Louis. That is not easy, ladies and gentlemen, and trying to articulate this. So some great questions tonight. Sorry, there was a little bit of a on the him driving, but that's okay. And let's see, we got some other great questions coming here that I will try and answer. I wanted to show this quick. If you have a Volta system, like I do, this is now available. It's called My Volta Cloud. This is where you have a enabled Bluetooth device in your van, and it talks to through the cloud to the device that's in your hand. So an example would be my iPad would stay in the van, and it talks to the system, and then I can check in on my iPhone. I take my iPad and my iPhone with me, so I'm trying to figure out a way around this. I'm working with Volta on this right now. But if you have a Volta system and you've been waiting for the cloud connectivity, go to their website, read up on this. I think Ginger's actually, who's in the house I saw, is going to make a video on this because she has a solution. The deal is you have to have a Bluetooth-enabled Wi-Fi device in the van. I have to go buy a used iPhone to make that happen right now. I'm going to try and get my Macintosh to do it, but I'm not sure it's going to work. So hot tip here, if you've been looking for the solution to monitor your Volta system from a distance that greater than 30 feet, you'll want to get that and play with that. So let me take that off. Again, some good questions here from the folks tonight, so I appreciate that. Searching here, and I've got a good one here. Bear with me, I'm behind on this a little bit. So Jack was pretty good, right? He's just so fascinating to talk to. Let's see, we did the inside the coach one. I'm searching, bear with me. If you could help me out, and like Sparks Guy, we did this one, but this is the format, 3 asterisks, 3 question marks. It helps me find your question more readily. So Love Matters has a question here. Does RVIA have a compliant process? How do you find out which manufacturers are members? They certainly do have a compliant process. Embassy RV just went through this. My recommendation would be to go to their website and find out where their members are. Some of the campgrounds, now I've never been asked for this, but some campgrounds require, in quotes, an RVIA sticker on an RV to be allowed into the park. And that's just for safety purposes, is my guess. And that's kind of what the RVIA thing is all about. It's just it meets minimum levels of certifications, accreditations. Better get my facts straight here. So we talked about Monster Trails. Let me show this to you folks. So the question of the night is, viewer question of the night, I'm a little discombobulated, I apologize, is this one right here. So question of the week is this one. And this is an interesting question. Let me bring this up. This comes from Paul and Debbie. Met them at one of our roundups. That's where we get together for a few hours and talk vans and enjoy food, drink, whatever. And this comes from them. So the bottom line question is here, what he's trying to do is the passenger seat won't spin all the way around because in the G floor plan, everything previous to 2022, the seat won't spin 100, all the way around. And what he wanted to do is create a recliner. Let me zoom in here so you can read this. So his question was, is there a minimum amount of airspace, and can he take a few inches off the box that I'm sitting on right now to allow that to turn around? And what I did is I've actually taken pictures of what this is he's trying to accomplish here and what the problem is. So let me show you here. I'll try and talk you through this. So the picture on the left is what he's talking about. So again, the passenger seat, cab seat, will not spin around fully because it's being blocked by the jump seat. And the picture on the right is all of the gear that goes inside of that jump seat. And you would be, I think, up for a giant project and would probably not do your Volta system a favor at all. You can see there's a fair amount of space between that grilling on the left side of the box where it gets pretty hot. And to reduce that amount of airflow, I think you would be doing a real disservice. So my suggestion is not go that route. It would probably, I'm for almost 100% certain, avoid any Volta warranty on that, because you would have to be doing a whole lot of modifications to make that thing smaller. And here's my suggestion for a workaround, and that is create a lounge out of your bed puzzle bed without putting down the table. And this is what I do. Let me zoom in here for you. And so what you can do is move the seat forward on the jump seat, put the cushion in behind it, and then put a pillow against the door, and that gives you plenty of support for your torso. Your legs go toward the table, or do it vice versa. I do that all the time without even moving the jump seat, and that will give you a recliner option. But I would definitely not be recommending trying to rework your Volta gear. You saw how much this goes in there, and hopefully you would be agreeable to that. If you want some further discussion offline, Paul and Debbie, I would be happy to do that with you. But we don't want you getting hurt doing that, and we definitely don't want you messing up your Volta system. Other good questions. Let's see. Right here is John, and again, the question format, 3 stars, 3 question marks. Let me find these quick. So John, thanks for joining tonight. Appreciate that. Any good solution to extending boondocking with small tanks, portable waste tank? Well, it depends on what kind of boondocking you're doing. If you're out in the woods and you're talking toilet waste, you can use the woods for those duties. That would certainly help. Really limit the amount of dishwashing you would do would be another one. And how long of a boondocking period of time would you be doing? I think water and waste is almost secondary to electrical. And if you have a Volta system, that certainly helps. Solar helps to some degree. But you're talking about small tanks here, so I'm guessing it's just water and waste. In which case, again, if you're going out for 3 or 4 days, I'm solo. I go 4, 5, 6 days on my tanks, and I use my tanks pretty thoroughly for the toilet waste. And it always fills first versus gray unless I'm showering in it, and I would not necessarily be showering in a boondocking situation. So that would be kind of my suggestion would be, if you're boondocking and it's toilet waste, is use nature. Digging holes for cat holes, is that what they're called, for number 2. And there's some rules around that. You can probably Google that pretty easily. But that would be the best way to extend the life of your waste tanks. And then reserve the onboard water for toilet and sink activity, and use a couple of portable tanks for drinking water. That's what I do. And that works pretty good. So hopefully that helps a little bit. But boondocking is... it can be like the way I like to boondock, which is going to a bunch of harvest hosts, and boondockers welcome on places like that, street camping even, and those kind of rules apply there as well. And you can use facilities provided by commercial businesses, etc., to do some of your stuff like that. And Planet Fitness, a shower and Planet Fitness. So there's a number of ways depending on how you want to do your boondocking there. It's a great question. I think we got New Jersey in the house tonight, and yes, Ginger Walkabout in the house. We just spent a whole bunch of time together. It's just a delight to see Ginger again. And look at that. Yeah, since she's in the house, we'll put the sticker right there for you. She snuck one in on me on the back of my van. I didn't know she did that. I didn't notice that till the day, actually. It's kind of cute. But if you haven't seen her channel, she's got a cool channel. She was doing full-time, now kind of doing part-time. Has rented her van. So if you're interested in any of that, you'll want to check out Ginger Walkabout and her channel there. Let me share with you the RV news of the week. This is kind of interesting. There's a lot of consolidation in the RV business right now, and RV dealers, RV park. I mean, it's just crazy. So let me zoom in here so you can see this. A lot of folks that do boondocking use an app called Campendium, and Togo is a big brand family that has a number of well-known brands associated with road trippers. I'm working with them right now, and I'm beginning to use that app. It's a navigation app more readily. And RV Village, if you're not familiar with that, it's kind of like a RV for Facebook. It's a pretty cool app, but Campendium has been now acquired by Togo, and they say they will be running independently, and the owners, founders of Campendium will continue to work for Campendium as part of the Togo brand family. So again, it's just kind of interesting. I did not know until that came out that RV Village was part of Togo. I did know that it was that Road Trippers was part of Togo. And interesting, Togo is actually part of Thor Industries. Thor is probably the biggest RV manufacturer. So it'll just be kind of fun to see what the future holds as they bring these digital experiences into a more hardware-based RV experience. I'd love to see some real innovation around the digital experience in the RVing. So maybe if that was news to you, there's something for you to think about tonight. Let's see. Let me go here. Let's see. So here's Fair going, you still on Route 66? Just jumped in to make sure you visit Pops along the route. So yeah, we caravanned. Ginger Walkabout was part of that from, where did we go? Tulsa, Oklahoma to Oklahoma City. We did make a stop at the Pop Shop. I bought some crazy flavored pop. It's just insane, that store. It just proves that if you build it, they will come. And we stopped, and that video will be coming out shortly. The video this week you'll see come out is the caravan from Pontiac, Illinois to Springfield, Illinois. So let's see. So here's Michael Clark has a question on, since you've been in hot country, have you noticed that your Volta has turned yellow in color with a blinking pattern when it gets too hot? Happens to me in Arizona. So I think it does indicate on the control panel when the inverter gets too warm. And when I've seen that, I've depleted the energy pack a fair amount. I come into shore power, I plug it in, and it's trying to do two things: charge and run the AC. And what I've been doing lately is venting it more readily by moving that jump seat open a little bit. There's slats in the top. I just find that it cools down and it quiets down more readily. But I haven't seen anything turned yellow in color, blinking pattern, that gets too hot. So I'm not familiar with that. If you want to hit me up separately, we can talk through that. But yeah, in this hot weather, if you're just trying to run Volta and charge your Volta off solar and or the engine, charge on demand, it's not really designed for that. We've talked about this a little bit, and you really have to have shore power when it is, and you're not moving a lot, like a lot every day. Shore power is the way to go. So I'm cool and comfy, 74 degrees in here. I'm in the shade. Huge difference, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, if you have something specific there, Michael, reach out. Let's see if we can help you out there. There's Kim. Kim and Tim came for the caravan, and that was a great deal of fun. So good seeing them. Yeah, my Lily got gingered. That was pretty funny. So let me see what the next thing on our docket is tonight. Kind of an interesting show with Jack driving. So appreciate everybody's patience on that. Thanks again for tuning in and watching. So this comes from Michael, I think. Michael Clark is the viewer recommendation of the week. And he's recommending a diner on Route 66 in Yermo, California. Apparently it's a harvest hose site. There's quite a few harvest hose sites on Route 66 I've discovered. We're going to be hitting more of those as we go. But if you're looking for a cool place to have a 50 style dining experience, if you can see the picture there, it looks pretty authentic in terms of the counter. I don't know about you, but I just love eating at the bar or at a counter so I can see people work. If you've ever been to Seattle or Portland, there's a famous restaurant called 13 Coins. That's where I learned about this stuff, is eating and watching people work. It's pretty awesome. Who needs TV when you got that going on, right? And since we're here, let's take a look at the, oops, this is, hey, I need you. Van builders, if you have van builders that you're aware of, let's get, send me a note. Again, it's GSLL viewer recommendation at Gmail. Van builders that you think we should be interviewing and or making tour videos. Tell an RV wannabe, if you're trying to get your story sold to family folks, have them subscribe to the channel. If every subscriber had one new person that subscribed, we would double in just minutes, from 15,000, which is amazing, to over 30,000. So refer, go small, live large, and let's get some more subscribers coming in. Vanbury host sites. This is a big deal. I want to do a lot more Vanbury. That's where we camp out for a night or two. Trying to organize that in an RV park is really a challenge. and we can save some money, and we can make it happen more easily if we have space. We can boondock, right? We're be self-contained, and if you have access to some behind-the-scenes stuff, that would be really awesome to be able to capture that, and maybe why you like to include that as part of an RV experience. Folks love to do those things, and then be an audience angel, like Mike and Janice. They invited me and Ginger and Arkansas Tracy to boondock at their house for a couple of nights because they had space. It was really awesome, and shore power. Thank you for that. So, so that's what you can do for us. And one more thing, here's our viewer song of the week. I had not heard a song from Yes in a very long time. And what the viewer Randy and Sharon recommended was checking out this. It was kind of an album, a little bit like The Wall. It kind of told a story through all the tracks on the album. Really interesting stuff. If you haven't heard Fly From Here, I'd recommend putting that on. It's kind of short. In total time it plays, but it was really cool, and I just love music, and it's so enriching in the RV experience. So if you haven't, let me zoom in so you can see that real quick. So get your favorite music player out, and then play that tonight and give that a listen to. I was pretty impressed. Let's see, looking for a few more questions here, then we'll call it a wrap. Yes, Donna was there. She was it for our roundup. I just love meeting all of you. It's so great. We're doing some things differently going forward. Mike is going to be our audience angel artist. He's coming up with some really cool things, and mementos and some digital stuff. And do some things in advance and afterwards. So we just love those. So check my website, GoSmallLiveLarge.com. Look on the events. Next one's going to be in Amarillo. And then one in Las Vegas, New Mexico. Excuse me, there is a drive-in theater on Route 66 in Las Vegas, New Mexico. And what I'm trying to do is communicate with them to see if we can get a bunch of vans and be in the back row. Wouldn't that be a hoot? Oh my gosh, that would just be so awesome. I would love that. So yeah, thumbs up. Thanks. Hey, Robert, how are you, sir? Thumbs up, people. If you didn't like the show at all, hit it twice. That would be really nice. And yeah, thumb up, appreciate that. Hoping to be in Texas next week. So we're rolling in Amarillo next week. So watch for that. Yeah, this is so great. I will see if we can get a picture up here. That would be kind of fun. Pictures of the yeah. He was great. He invited 3 feral VANLIFErs into his palatial estate. I'm just looking at this question. So, yeah. So if your Volta system it's too hot, so there's a temperature limit on the pack itself, and then if the inverter is trying to do too much and overheats, then it will give you a timeout. And I actually kind of experienced this just recently. I'm trying to connect all the dots and see if we can make a video about it. But rolling out of our campsite in Oklahoma City with all the with the Ginger Walkabout and then Mike and some of the others, Kim and Tim and Tracy, I experienced that myself. So not fun, and it's a little troubling. So trying to connect the dots with Volta so we can put some education out there. But yeah. All right, folks, let's see what else we got tonight. I think that is, pet pick of the week. Are you ready for this one? Yes, this is Binks. And Binks, that's a great Halloween cat. How about that picture? So Randy and Sharon, thank you for that. I'm so excited to get a cat. I got to see Ginger Walkabout's Whiskey, which is her dog, and it just is an exclamation point how enriching a dog or a cat is in your RVing experience. And I'm definitely getting a cat. So maybe when I get to my mom's house next month in September, we'll go cat looking and get a kitten, train him right. So yeah, Ginger's like, the Volta system is smarter than all of us. It's pretty funny. They're really well engineered. And I just really want to thank Jack again for taking time out while he was driving tonight. Oh my gosh, what a trooper, right? So big thanks to Jack, and a big thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in tonight. Fun show, a little off kilter a little bit with him driving, but we really appreciate him joining. Really appreciate you joining. Comment below where you're watching from, and as always, we'll see you next Wednesday for What's Up Wednesday. Video dropping tomorrow. Embassy RV Part 2 of their tour build tour. And then Route 66, that's coming out on Saturday. So watch for that. So until we see you soon, I say thank you again, and we'll see you soon on the small screen. Night, night. Goodbye.